times time. So what is the speed of the canoe when you go down the river? We're going to add these two speeds of the water and the boat, or are we going to subtract them when we're going downriver? Yeah, add. So what would it be? I have to add the speed of the boat and the speed of the current, right? So what would it be? What represents the speed of the boat?
B and C. So B plus C.
Yeah. B plus C times 2.
So
Yep.
when you add, it's going upstream, right?
No, downstream. Add because you're going with when you go upstream, it's like uphill, the water's against you. Okay? Next, we know that the return trip against the current took 3 hours. So who can set this whole thing up for me? Andrew.
So it's it's 12
Yep.
equals B minus C times 3.
Beautiful. All right. Now I'm going to divide both of these by 2. This 2 cancels with the 12 divides. So this becomes 6. You see how important just the simple math is now? All sort of on top, right? All this stuff is on top of just taking for granted what you knew to do this. This goes away. This becomes 4. Any questions there from that step to that step? All right, everyone's good with that. Now what do? I got these 2 very simple equations. What do? Yep. Yeah, I can subtract or add, but let's subtract. Sure, we'll minus them. So 6 minus 4, Jafet?
2.
Okay. B minus B
0.
and C minus C.
2C.
Yep. Very good. So C is equal to 1. Okay. Now what am I going to do with this value? Josiah? What am I going to do with this? Yeah, which one? Does it matter? No. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't, right? When you're finding something out and you're checking it, it matters. When you're solving for the other variable, it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, so C in there, I get 6 equals B plus 1. B is equal to 5. All right. Who wants to write up the concluding statements? KG. What's it ask us to find, KG?
Therefore, the speed of the boat in still water is 5.
Yeah.
And the speed of the current is 1.
Is 5 and 1 what? Good. Yep.
Why can't we just add it so the C's
Sorry?
why can't we just add the equation at the top so the C's go?
You could have. I said that. You could do either one. Jafet chose to subtract. You could have added. If you added, you would have got the value of B first. You would have found B was 5. Let's do it. Watch. 6 equals B plus C. 4 equals B minus C. If we added these, we would have got 10 is equal to 2B, and the C's are gone, so B is equal to 5. See, we would have just went reverse. Cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have added 2. I don't know. It's just however your brain works. Whatever you see first. Any questions with that problem? They're both the same. RC.
Would there be any problem where you would need to subtract or add the two values, like 5 and 1?
Subtract or add these values?
Yeah, so like the speed of the boat going upstream is 6 kilometers or 4 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it could have asked that. I don't know. It didn't ask for that. It asked for the speed in still water and the speed of the current. But you're right. You could ask anything. You could ask how long would it take if the river current was 7 kilometers an hour. It could ask anything. But yeah. All right. Yep.
Since it says like still water and the current speed is 1, then wouldn't it be 4 for the boat speed?
It says still water because it's asking just like how fast is the boat. But yeah, I don't know why it said still water in this one and it didn't in this one, but it's asking just for the boat speed, right? Yeah. What is the boat speed and what is the boat speed in still water is the same question for that. All right, steps to solving word problems involving linear systems. So these are the 5 steps. You're going to write the opening statements representing each unknown quantity with a variable. That is determined by the question. The question will say, find this and this out. So you'll say, let this letter represent this. Let this representer let this. That's the easy one, right? Hopefully. Hopefully you can get a mark right there. Set up equations using the variables you have defined as well as information given in the problem. That's probably the hardest part, if I'm being honest. To create these equations correctly, these equations, that's probably the hardest part, okay? In this case, you have to know a little bit about physics. You need distance, speed, time triangle. Then it says solve the linear system using either the method of substitution or elimination. We used every time there, I don't know if you guys noticed, we used what method, Milkias?
Elimination.
Elimination, yeah. We didn't use substitution. We could have very easily rearranged one of these equations for C. We could have went C is equal to 6 minus B and then sub that into the other one, but that would have been more work. Elimination's easier. All right, next, check your solution. So we didn't do that. We didn't check the solution. You guys can do that. I was checking myself with the answers, but how would have we checked these solutions? If you're writing a test, it's always good to check, right? You might as well see if you got the right answer. How can we check, Liam? Yeah, so if I have C is 1 and B is 5, I would plug in 5 here and 1 here. So I get 5 plus 1 equals 6. 6 equals 6. Here I would have 5 minus 1. So I would have 5 minus 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 equals 4. Then I would know that's correct. Okay? All right. And then finally, write the final statement. And I'm going to put in here in brackets, including units. Dreaded units. That's the kilometer per hour, right? That's the km per hour, or whatever the units happen to be. In this case, looks like we're going to miles per hour. All right, here, example 4. You drive 210 miles into a relative's house. It takes you 4 hours. Part of the time you're on a freeway where the speed limit is 60 miles per hour. The rest of the time you're on smaller roads where the speed limit is 30 miles per hour. Supposing you drove exactly at the speed limit the whole way, how much time did you spend on each type of road? Ooh, okay, so I think we're going to need the distance, speed, time triangle, right? Because we're dealing with all 3 of those variables, so we need to know how they relate. So I'm just going to put that on the side in case I need it. Who can help me here to determine our opening statements? Ethan.
Let represent time on the freeway.
I like it. Time on the freeway, okay. Yeah.
Let Y represent time on the side street.
Yeah, the side streets. Side streets or smaller roads. Okay. I like that. Any questions there? That was pretty easy. Got a free mark just for writing out what it's asking you to find, pretty much. Now the hard part, creating the equations. Who wants to try this? The first equation. Yeah, Douglas?
210 equals f plus y times 4.
X plus y times 4. No, because 4 is time, and then these variables are also time. So you're doing time times a time. So that's not going to work. Engineer?
Would you, like, for the speed limit, would you subtract, like, 30?
Speed limit, would you subtract 30?
I was asking, like, let me put it in the question. How would you do the speed limit? Would you subtract something?
I'm not sure what you're asking. How would you do the speed limit? Let's read the question again. So you drove 210 miles to a relative's house. So that's our distance, 210. We know that's distance. That's good. It takes you 4 hours. It took us 4 hours to drive that distance. Okay? Part of the time you're on a freeway where the speed limit is 60. The rest of the time you're on smaller roads where the speed limit is 30. So the only reason they're saying the speed limit, engineer, is that they're assuming you drove at the speed limit. Okay? Most people do, right? So I know you can drive under that, but they're suggesting here that you're driving at 60 on the highway and you're driving at 30 on the side roads. Okay? Does that make sense? I know if nobody drives, maybe they don't quite understand that, but most people drive right at the speed limit. Okay? So we know when he's on the freeway, he's going 60, which by the way is 100 kilometers per hour, which is more typical, right? 60 miles. And we know when he's driving on the side streets, he's driving 30. It then says, suppose you drove exactly at the speed limit. Oh, it says that. It even tells us, sorry. How much time did you spend on each type of road? Okay. Ethan, you want to try the equation? You have a question.
Would it be like distance divided by the speed?
Sorry?
Would it be distance divided by the speed equals the time? So 210 divided by 60 to find the freeway equals...
No, we have 210 as the distance. We need two other distances to make up 210. Now we know X is representing the time on the freeway, and Y is representing the time on the side streets. So what's the other variable that we need to put in here, right, to get distance? Distance is equal to speed times time. Okay? So what's the other variable that we need to get distance on our highways and distance on our smaller roads? Milky. Yeah, so what is it? What is it for X? X is time on the freeway. So what is the speed on the freeway?
60x
Right.
31.
Good. Good. Does that make sense? Right? Because that's the speed, and we're multiplying it by the time that he's on those two, and that will give us the distance that he's on each. Make sense? Okay, now the other equation is a lot easier. We know the total time takes us 4 hours, so our time is 4 hours, right? And we know that our time on the freeway is represented by X, and our time on the side street is represented by Y. So Rudy, what would the equation be here? We know our total time is 4, right? Now we have our two time variables here and here. So what would I write here?
So we could do 60x subtract 30y.
No, I'm trying to create a new equation. So not with 60 or Y, just with time. 4 is the total, and I say X is the time of the freeway and Y is the time of the side street. So what can I put to represent those two variables here? Come on, I think if you were listening, you would have got this pretty easy. Douglas.
X plus y.
X plus Y, yeah. We just add up those two times. Because we know the time on the freeway is X, time on the side streets is Y. Those two times have to be 4. Does that make sense? Everyone understands that. Okay, so here's our two equations now. Now, all of the hard work, in my opinion, is done. The math actually is the easy part. We've decoded the English now into these two formulas. Now we should be able to solve these. Who wants to try and solve these two equations? Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I would divide the 210 equals 60 plus 30 by 30. So then it would be 70 equals 2x plus 9.
Beautiful. Yep. He's divided everything here by 30, 30, 30. Okay. And then our other equation, we don't need to do anything with, I don't think. So now we have these two pretty neat equations. And what can you do? Andrew, keep going.
I would use the method of substitution. So I'll minus them.
Not substitution, elimination, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you're going to minus. Why are you going to minus, not add?
because they're the same thing.
The y's are the same, right? And why are you dealing with the y's and not the x's?
Because there's only one line.
Yeah, because they match, right? So it's easy. So 70 minus 4 is 66, equal to 2x minus x is x, and then y minus y is nothing. Okay, so right away we get x equals 66. Did I do something wrong? Yep. Yep. Hold on, something doesn't seem right here. Sorry, Max? What are you laughing at?
Sir,
Yep.
why do you divide like everything by 30 on the top?
To get rid of the to get rid of the 30 in front of y. Oh, I know what I did wrong. 210 divided by 30 is not 70, it's 7. That makes more sense. Right? No one could have helped me there with a calculator? Ethan, you missed that too?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I keep picking on you. Okay,
So they said
3 is equal to x. That's better. So 3 is the number of hours, or number represents the number of time in hours that's spent on the freeway. So if I take 3 now and I sub it in for x here, I'm going to get 4 equals 3 plus y. Y is equal to 1. Okay? Are we done?
Try it out.
We're pretty much done. The hard part's done. Josiah, can you finish it off?
Finish curling and then curl.
Okay. Can you finish it off, Josiah? What are you going to write? Sorry? What am I going to write here? I have x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1. So what does that tell us? We're answering the question. How much time did you spend on each type of road? So we'll write, therefore,
Where are you writing? I don't see it.
up here.
Oh.
Therefore?
Therefore, I spent 3 hours on.
Yeah, 3 hours on.
On the freeway.
Yep. Yeah? And?
And then you spend 1 hour on the road.
Beautiful. And notice how he put the units in right away. That's correct. It was hours. Still got 3 questions. Really hoping to finish. Okay, this one I'm gonna skip this one. The solution, this is another distance, time, speed question. It's very similar. So the solution will be in the content. That's like our fourth one on speed, so we need to move on. Going a little too slow. We're going to solve a mixture problem here. Just to switch it up. I don't know why this is not. Okay. All right, we make 60 pounds of a coffee mixture using coffee A and coffee B. Coffee A costs $4.08 per pound and coffee B costs $3.48 per pound. How many pounds of each kind of coffee were added if the coffee mixture costs $3.78 per pound? All right, RC, you want to try?
Let A represent copy A and B represent
Not represent coffee, but represent what about the coffee?
or the money.
Nope. It says how many pounds of each kind of coffee. So we'll write let A, right, represent,
Pounds of
yeah, the number of pounds of coffee A, right? And then we will let B okay, so what's the first one equation that we can make up here? Jeds. It's an easy one, right? We know we're making 60 pounds of coffee, right? And A is representing the number of pounds of coffee A, and then B is representing the number of pounds of coffee B. So, Jeds, what can I write?
60
Yeah?
equals
Yeah?
A plus B.
Yeah. A plus B. The two types of coffees in pounds equals 60 because we know we're making a total of 60 pounds of coffee. Okay, now this is the harder one. Okay, now it tells us coffee A costs $4.08 per pound and coffee B costs $3.48 per pound. How much of each kind of coffee were added if the coffee total mixture costs $3.78 per pound? Okay, if the coffee mixture is $3.78 per pound, what equations can I write for that? Anybody? Andrew, yeah.
A 408 plus
Yeah.
B 348 equals 60 378.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Can you tell everyone how you did that?
I don't know.
Nice. Come on, you know, you gotta try to explain it now. It's communication.
Because if there's 60 pounds and if there's 60 pounds, that means there's each pound costs $3.78
Yeah.
mixture, and there's 60 pounds of it.
Yeah, so that's how you got that.
It'd be 60 times that.
Excellent.
I just did the same thing. for
Excellent,
A,
yeah.
B.
Good. You know that's your number of pounds of A, so you're gonna multiply it by the price, and that's your number of pounds for B, so you multiply it by the B price.
Yeah.
And you're getting your total cost for each type of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Excellent job. Okay, so I need to multiply this out here. If I can try and do this in my head. 226.80 is that right? Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 4.08a plus 3.48b. So we have this equation, and we have, I'm going to rewrite this one down here. Just going to reverse it. Everyone's okay with that, I hope? Just changing that around. Yes? I didn't change anything? Okay, now, how can we solve this? Actually, I'll ask a different question. Elimination or substitution? Yeah, substitution might be easier here. You could use elimination. You would be multiplying this equation, adding a whole bunch more decimals, because you'd have to multiply this by 4.08 to get the a's the same. We could do that. But substitution is probably maybe easier. I don't know. I always like elimination, but let's do substitution. So we got 60 minus b. Any questions there how I got the value for a?
No.
Okay, so now that I have the value of a, I'm going to sub that into this equation. I have to sub it into the opposite equation. If I sub it back into here, it won't tell me anything. It won't tell me b, right? So I have to sub it into here. So we get 4.08 times 60 minus b plus 3.48 b is equal to 22680. Okay, I'm going to need some help here. So 4.08 times 60, 244
244.8.
minus 4.08b plus 3 point. So what's 4.08? So minus 4.08 plus 3.48.
-0.6.
Negative 0.6? Okay, so negative 0.6b is equal to, what's 226.8 minus 244.8?
-18.
Negative 18? Yeah, that looks right. And so then b is equal to 30, right? Negative 18 minus 0.6 divided by negative 0.6? Yeah, 30, good. So then I can plug that into here, and I get a plus 30 equals 60. A is equal to 30 as well. Wah, wah, wah. So it's a pretty even mixture, looks like. So how am I going to write the concluding sentence here? Who have I not picked on at all? Lucas, what am I going to write? A and B are both 30. So therefore, there are 30 pounds of coffee A, yeah? And 30 pounds of coffee B in the mixture, right? Any questions? I'm gonna see if I can smash this last question in here. Very last question here. Example 7. You're working in a lab and your boss wants 10 liters of acid. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave that because I do want to talk to you guys. So we're gonna stop there. The solution to this will be on D2L content. Okay? You'll see it there. It's pretty straightforward. I think percentage is actually easier than the last one. I do want to talk to you guys though. I'm going to stop this here.